Hi and welcome back to Friendsheepknits. This is Anita and I'm Andra, and today we're filming our 9th episode. Yes, today we are not wearing any knitwear because it's just so hot, and well, I only have actually merino stuff and nothing like linen or cotton yet, so yeah, I didn't want to wear anything.
Yeah, same. I also didn't feel like wearing any knitwear today, but that's fine. We're following a common knitting podcast structure, so we're starting with the finished objects, then talk about the whips, and maybe also plans if we have any. So I'm just gonna start with my first finished object, which is the Esther sweater baby. I was actually always so inspired by this knitting pattern or this stitch pattern, and I was always interested to knit a sweater, but I somehow knew that I didn't want a sweater to have for myself. I just knew it's not my style, but still it just looked so fun to knit. And always then I thought, oh, maybe I'm gonna knit a sweater for a baby, also because it's so small and so fast to knit, which I thought. So I knitted this sweater for the baby of our friend. And actually I had some yarn in the stash, which I thought is gonna be perfect for this. It is from Long Yarn, the alpaca sock 6-ply. So it is a alpaca yarn, but also has some nylon in it, which I thought is perfect. So she can just put this in the washer, I hope. Yeah. And it was a 150-gram ball, so it was a huge ball, and I just had one, and actually it just went perfect. So I have just a little teeny tiny bit of rest yarn to it.
Cool.
Yeah, and actually it was just so fun to knit.
I love it. It's so cute.
Yeah, and I think the color will suit her so well.
Yeah. Also, I like the color because you can see the stitch pattern quite well, I think.
Oh, that's true,
So
yeah.
that's really nice too.
Yeah. The only issue I ran into is that my gauge wasn't correct yet again. The initial gauge is 28 stitches for 10 centimeter, and the pattern is by Petit Knit. I didn't mention that. She uses Sunday by Sandnes Garn, and yeah, it is a fingering weight yarn, and the sock ply the sock yarn 6-ply is a sport weight yarn, so it's just a little bit thicker. With the 3mm needle, I achieved a gauge of 23 stitches, so it was 5 stitches off, which is kind of bit for this small garment, I think. So first I looked which size I would knit for her if my gauge was correct, and then I calculated how many stitches I would have too much if I would just use the wrong yarn or the yarn with the wrong gauge on the correct size. And then as I knew how many stitches I would have too much, I just subtracted this to the stitches where you join the body, and then I knew which size I need to do. So I just knew I don't know whether that's clear, but I just knew how many stitches I need at the bust circumference, and then I just looked like which size is the closest to this. I hope that's clear. So, and I don't know whether it fits. I didn't give it away obviously. But I think that's a good 1 to 2 year old size.
It might still be a little bit oversized in her.
Yeah, I think so.
It's gonna look great.
But I mean, she's not gonna wear it during summer.
True that.
So yeah.
Cool.
I'm really happy I could stash bust a little, and I think it's just perfect, that yarn, for this project, but also for her.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Really excited to give that away.
So my first and only finished project is the Good Times Overall by Drops design. The gauge for the design for the pattern is 21 stitches and 28 rows in 10 centimeters or 4 inches. The needles used or suggested are 4mm needles or US 6 and 3mm needles or US 2.5. Yeah, but I use a lot of thinner yarn, so I used 2.5 millimeter needles or US 1.5. Yeah, this overall is also in my baby knits Ravelry bundle. So it is meant as a gift knit, but like before we started filming, I had it on my lap and like I drank my morning coffee and then it just kind of dropped right into my coffee. So it's a little bit wet. I think I washed it out well enough, but if I
Yeah.
see when it dries and it still has little
Spots.
spots, maybe, yeah. Yeah, I guess it's
Splashes.
that's it. Splashes of coffee. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna gift it or try to wash it out first.
Or you can like dye it.
All of it, right? In coffee, or what do you mean?
No.
Like with blue, like a blue color or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to put so much effort into that. I just thought I'm just gonna keep it.
Yeah, well.
Unravel it maybe.
No.
I'm joking. I'm not gonna do that. I knitted it in the size 6 to 9 months. Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that it still looks like big enough for yeah, like 4 months old, even though I use such a small needle size. The yarn I use is called, I bought it in Denmark in a netto, and it is called Portuguese bomull, which kind of translates into Portuguese cotton, and the colorway is turquoise. And I use it out of my stash yarn because if you watch the previous podcast, I want to use like baby knits and baby gift knits to use up my stash yarns, which contains of a lot of different like cotton yarns that I bought in secondhand shops or, as I said, like in kind of like, yeah, normal like grocery stores. So yeah, that's that. It was so much fun to knit actually. Like I love how there's the 2x2 ribbing, and how it develops with the increases. Yeah, so every step of it was quite interesting. I forgot like the buttonholes, so I just kind of decided to make press-on buttons, which I actually would prefer as a parent too.
Yeah, me
because
too.
they
Maybe
don't have to nestle so much, but let's see how it works out for them. Yeah, that's that for the good times overall.
Oh, and I think it's also like good to mention that all of the baby knits that it are in the bundle are for free, which I think is just so nice because sometimes you want to just do a little gift knit and not also like spend even more money
That's
for the
true.
pattern. So
Yeah, all of them except for one romper.
okay.
But other than that, they're all like free. Yeah, I like that as well. So it's really like a nice thing for like in between when you want to use up stash yarn and you don't want to spend too much money on knitting because you might have to save a little bit. So you can just like still keep knitting but don't have to, yeah, pay too much.
Yeah.
I like that too.
So my next finished object, which I'm also very excited about, is the Sook Moon Sweater by Knit. Yeah, it's this very like summery, laid back sweater with a boxy fit. It is a raglan and it has these stripes which are created by not holding the merino always together with the mohair. So you always have these like transparent mohair stripes, which I really like. Yeah. The suggested garn is Gepard Garn Kitzetta and Gepard Garn Wild and Soft. I used merino and mohair by Knitting for Olive, both in the color licorice, so they're just black color. The suggested needles are 4.5 millimeter needles or US 7, but I used 5 millimeter needles or US 8, so I had to size up a little. But all of the borders are knit in 3.5 millimeter needles, which I also did, so I didn't size up for that. Actually, when I started knitting this sweater, I was just looking for this very like easy knit, which I could just take everywhere at social events and yeah, etc. But when I started, I didn't really have the mindset to really think about stuff and to calculate and to just pay attention. So it's actually a little bit I don't know. I think a lot of impulsive decisions went into this pullover, but actually I'm really happy how it turned out. So
it looks amazing. Honestly, I love it on you.
Thanks. Yeah, I love it too. After the twisted rib collar, you just go right into the raglan increases. But I decided to add 2 short rows, which I'm actually really happy with, because now I just have at the back of the pullover there's this stripe of where I held the merino and the mohair together. But in the front it just starts right with the mohair. So I think it's a very like elegant way of like doing, I don't know, the short rows in this pullover, because I don't know, it's like the pattern of the pullover is continued in the back and in the front, but you still have like some short rows, which I'm really happy about, or I think the fit is really good. So of course I don't know how it would fit without those, but yeah. Actually, Yoreum recommends to do 5 short rows in the back just before you start the ribbing. The body, sorry, like in the end of the body, just before you start the ribbing. I only did 1 there because I didn't like get what she wants to tell me. It was actually kind of clear after I talked about it with you.
Yeah.
I thought like, okay, that's not that complicated, but somehow when I read it, it didn't click. So I only made 1 there. So maybe like the short row just at the neck wouldn't be needed when you have like 5 short rows at the end of the body. Yeah, I don't really know. Also, I skipped the instructions to do a purl one, knit through the back loop, purl one at the raglan increase or at the raglan stitches. I just did stockinette. If I would have knitted the size XS to pattern, I would have ended up with 30 centimeter of positive ease, which I thought is going to be a little bit too much for me. So I just did some increase rounds less. So in total, there were 12 increase rounds less. So 24 rounds in total, which I skipped. So I did 28 increase rounds in total. Yes. And then I started with the body. I haven't done a raglan in like quite some time. Probably it's not that long, but the last projects like were like drop shoulders and stuff. So I forgot that when you start the sleeves that you don't have to pick up the stitches for the sleeve.
Oh yeah.
First I thought like, oh, I will have to pick up the stitches, and it was just like stopping me a little bit. But then at some point it was like, oh, it's a raglan, I don't have to do that.
That's the best thing about raglan, I feel like.
Yeah, I love that. The pattern says to just like knit a straight sleeve and then like do some decreases in the last round of the sleeve and then start the ribbing. I thought, or my worry was that the sleeve would just get too wide for me. So I decided to do decreases every 12th round. So I did just 2 decreases like before and the end. No, at the start and at the end of the round. I did a decrease, and yeah, I can show it. Like it's not tapered or anything, but you can see that it just goes in a little bit.
It looks great.
Yeah, I'm really happy I did that. And it is still a very flowy and like boxy fit, I think, which I didn't want to like go away from that, but still I was scared that it would just like have a very like wide sleeve.
Yes, I get that.
Yeah. In the end, I'm really happy with the sweater and how it turned out. Even if I didn't like follow the pattern as much. I think I was just too confident. I thought like, oh, raglan, I know how that works. And then I was just a little bit overconfident and lazy to look at the pattern. So I had to go back.
So dangerous.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think I will have to like go back some steps in my confidence.
Tone it back, please.
Yeah, I'm really happy how it turned out, and it is so nice to wear. I just love this very like, it's so thin and so like just like a cloud. I don't know, I love it. And I was already thinking about doing it another like a second one.
Really?
So yeah.
Same color?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why-
Probably not. But I thought, like, then I started thinking about what color I would do it. But then I thought, no, black is just the best. So I don't know.
Oh. Why would you want to do it again? Like for yourself or as a gift?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Just because I love it so much.
Nice. That's actually a good idea.
Probably I will not do it, but
we'll see.
after like just wearing it up for the first time, it was like, oh, I need many of these. So that tells how much I'm in love with them. So we're gonna continue with our whips. Actually, both of us are knitting the mixed Rib Cami right now, and we're also hosting a cal. So in case you want to join, you're most welcome. We're not going like into close detail either of the cal. You can just like visit the video we made. We don't want to repeat ourselves. Also, we didn't like knit as much on our mixed Rib Camis, also because we don't want to rush through. The mixed Rib Cami cal we're hosting until the 1st of September. So we're not going to show any updates here right now. We don't want to ramble all about this camisole. But we're both knitting on that.
Yes. Well, technically, I lost mine actually because I'm moving. This is why I don't have that many projects today. I have two. So yeah, I moved and I didn't have time to knit as much as I wanted to. And like somewhere between like boxes and bags, I guess, is my mixed rib. I just need to find it as soon as possible. But yeah. Also,
you still have time.
I do. Oh gosh. Otherwise, I'm just gonna start a new one again.
You will find
I hope so.
It.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the headphones. That's why I think.
Yeah, I lost other things too. Oh my gosh. But it must be somewhere, so I'm not worried about it.
No, you will find it.
I hope so. And that's why I haven't like made any progress with it as well. I'm still at the very beginning of it.
I mean, I did a little progress, but I really tried to stop myself. So I don't want to be like over with it, like what feels like 2 weeks into the cal. So
yeah, fair enough. Same. Technically, in theory, I would have done the same. This is so tragic. One project I'm talking about is falling into my coffee. The other one I've just lost. And the third one I've been working on forever. So today is not my podcast day, honestly.
That's okay.
You know, just like we're authentic here and real. And that's my reality at this time. Oh, also another one I'm not going to talking about. My needles broke, so I couldn't even work on that one. No, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Let's continue.
All right. So my next whip is the Spicy Slipover by Le Pol or Le Bulle. We never know how.
We never know.
Is it French? Is it English? We don't know. I just started this and I was thinking about whether I want to do this or not for a long time. You were always very supportive, but I was just unsure.
I love it. I love the pattern.
Yeah. It has a 23 stitches gauge and is knitted with a DK weight yarn, which is called Manos del Uruguay Sami. Never heard of that.
You said it very well, though.
Yeah, it was. I'm using Knitting for Olive, as always. It's the merino base in the color Red Currant. I'm holding it double. I'm not meeting gauge, as always. I'm sorry. Yeah, really. I don't know when I hit gauge last time. So
honestly, history.
Yeah, I think people are then just using other garns which are meeting gauge, but I'm never doing that.
Yarns.
Yeah. I would say garns.
Garns.
Yeah, my gauge is 21 stitches in 10 centimeters or 4 inches. The row gauge is also off. I have 28 stitches. Rows. She has 32.5 rows. So I'm quite off, but actually I do not mind because her her V-neck, I think is quite high.
Yeah, it is.
And so when my row gauge is a little bit longer, my hope is that it is going to be a little bit deeper. The recommended needle size is 3.5 millimeter needles or US 4. I used 4 millimeter needles or US 6. Probably that's also why I didn't meet gauge, but I didn't like the fabric of the like DK weight yarn on 3.5 millimeter needles. I thought it's just way too dense and the fabric was like rolling up itself. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I thought it's not gonna happen. So I'm knitting it on 4 millimeter needles, as I said, and that's probably also the reason why I'm just a little bit off gauge.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm knitting size XS officially, but not really actually, because I just calculated. I didn't want to calculate the whole thing again, so I thought I'm just gonna see like how many stitches she casts on for the back, and then I'm just gonna subtract how many stitches I have too much, and then look how it works.
Okay, I see. Yeah, it's like the more simple version.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I finished the back, and now I'm working on the left front, and yeah, it's going by pretty fast.
Yeah, you are so quick, honestly. I mean, like compared to myself right now. But I really love the fit. Like the longer I look at this and at the picture, I just really want to knit it myself as well. And I love that it's so boxy and yeah, like the daring color. Really up to it too.
Would you also knit it in red?
Probably not. If I would choose a red, it would be like more a plum or a Bordeaux and not like a red currant.
Mm-hmm.
I love the name though. Just because of the name, I would buy it, but not because of the color itself. I just think it's too warm or too like
bright.
Too bright for me. Yeah, or like a pink would be nice as well.
Not bright, saturated maybe.
That's it. Too clear, not dusty enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, too saturated. Sharp. Too much. Just in general. Or yeah, I would go like into the like reds and pinks probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lovely pattern.
You don't know that.
It looks lovely. My only work in progress is the Late Summer Wrap by Pernille Larsen, also known as Knitting for Olive. Suggested gauge is 20 stitches or 29 rows in 10 centimeters or 4 inches, and suggested needles are 4 millimeter needles US 6 and 3.5 millimeter needles US 2.5. Yeah. So yeah, like in the pattern, they only use 4.5 millimeter needles or US 7, which was kind of confusing because I met gauge with the 4 millimeter needles that are written on the Ravelry page. So I just kind of decided to continue with those instead of changing it. So the yarn that I used is Mayo Yarn Spoon of Fine in the color Artichoke. And I'm very happy with this choice because it's so nice to knit, like the feel of it, but also I feel like it really fits the pattern and gives it a little bit of a summery or springy look. Oh yeah, the construction is contiguous shoulders, which is also so interesting to make. Like this really speaks for this pattern. Every step is so interesting. I also love how the wraps are constructed, like the way you kind of combine it in the end, like knit it up. It's just so much fun to do that and so meditating. Nice. But I feel like I've been doing this for so long right now. Like the whole pattern. In the beginning, I was so fast.
Yeah.
Like the second day, I was almost at the sleeves, and now it's just been, I don't know, like on hold for so long because I needed my needles otherwise, or like for a different project, and yeah, just kind of lost the motivation a little bit. Also, I made the arms, or I didn't make the arms too tight, but like I feel like in the pattern for me, they feel too tight. So I kind of want to unravel those and make a little bit more of balloony arms or sleeves, I mean. Yeah, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do this right away, actually, because we first need to like feel like finished and then bring up the motivation again when the finished is like past for a certain time or a certain amount of time. Please tell me someone else feels like this as well. Because yeah, it works though. I've done this before.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm going to do the same pattern again for a friend of mine who's gonna be married in August, and she just wants something for like over her dress. Yeah, to for a little bit of warmth. I'm gonna do it in the same yarn, but like in white. And from the very beginning on, I'm gonna make balloon sleeves. Like she wished this when she saw the pattern, which then I thought it makes sense to do it like that.
She could just tell by the photos.
Yeah, well, actually, no. Oh, yeah, it was different. Like she showed me an Etsy picture of someone who does like wraps, not this pattern, but something similar, and they had like very balloony sleeves.
Nice.
So she asked me if I can do something similar. Yeah, so I'm very excited to do that. And
really,
this is like how I reframe it.
Okay.
I'm gonna program my brain that I'm very excited to do that very soon. But honestly, I hope when I'm finished, like it's just this wrap. I just have to finish it like down here, and then I'm gonna block it. I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna fall in love with it. I'm gonna change the sleeves, and then I'm gonna be excited about it again. Right?
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Absolutely.
But it's just not so much time anymore.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
I mean, it's like
a month.
No, I mean she's getting married in mid of August, so you have like
2 months.
2 months.
1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just gonna tell myself it's a month because otherwise I'm gonna be too optimistic. Also, I have to buy the yarn as well. I have to order it. Should do that right now actually. And then I'm gonna order also one extra skein for me to increase the arms because the sleeves because I don't have enough yarn anymore. But the cool thing is like where I order it, it's called Wolle 7, like Yarn 7 translated, and they're the nicest people ever. So you can just like kind of call them up and ask like the dye lot, and they come and look for them, and they're just so incredibly sweet. Oh, little tangent. I also crochet a wedding top for another friend, and I wanted to buy the cream of pure silk of Knitting for Olive, but I didn't have it on the website for like a month almost. I was like checking it, and it was always like sold out, and I was kind of getting stressed because I knew she wants exactly that color, exactly that yarn. So I kind of was like, oh, I'm just gonna call them up, and then I was like, oh, for a wedding top, and then they called me back, and they're like, for such a good reason, like I had to call you back. We're gonna have it in a week, but I'm gonna open up like the website for you so you can order it right now. And then she just kind of clicked something, and the sold went away, and I could just order my 10 skeins. And yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh, people are so nice. I love like yarn community.
Yeah,
so sweet.
I also had to call them once because I did an order and forgot some yarn. I also wanted to order, and then I had like questions about dye lot and stuff, and they were so nice and really helpful. Yeah,
I mean, we genuinely love them. We're not like paid by them or anything. This is not sponsored, but we just genuinely love them. Yes,
we do.
So I guess that's that for my work in progress and also my planning. Actually, I would say so.
My last whip I'm gonna talk about is actually kinda a flop, which I'm probably gonna frog, which is so sad. I bought this yarn on my birthday in our local yarn shop, which was so special to me. It's the Jonnen called by Wollspinnerij Fetch, and it's in this like periwinkle blue, which I'm so in love right now. It is a slightly uneven spun yarn, which I thought like, oh, this is so cool, but actually I learned that probably that's also a reason why I'm struggling to find a project for it. I was thinking about the Maggie West, which then I decided against because first I was off with gauge, but also for some patterns I have this vision of it, a very like neat garment, and then I think an uneven spun yarn is just not what I want. Then I decided for the Yoreum top by Knit, which I thought is gonna be like a lovely summer top, I already thought when I was casting on like, when am I going to wear this? Because it's like a DK wool top with lace in front.
Yeah.
So, but I still thought like, yeah, it's gonna be fine. But then, I mean, I'm quite far already. I did the back and joined in the front. And then I started to do this very fun lace motif, but I'm just not happy with it. It's just like, I don't know. The yarn is just too thick. I mean, I'm meat engaged, but I had like the project photo is just in this very flowy light yarn, which I think looks so amazing. And this is just not what I want. So I probably am gonna, I'm probably gonna frog this top and maybe do a vest or something. Yeah, we'll see. It's a little bummer. I don't really mind to frog. I think I was just so happy to have finally found a project where I think, or which I think was a good fit. Now I have to rethink. What I am probably gonna do is like a vest or something with no lace and no just stockinette.
Yeah.
And a very like probably pretty plain one. I think there I can like wear the uneven fabric. I think it looks really nice, but somehow I'm still a little bit disappointed in a way. I don't know. I think this is my learning curve to not buy uneven spun yarn.
Yeah.
I love the idea of it, and I also love how it looks in this game, but I think it's just not for me.
Yeah, it will always look a little bit untidy. Right?
Yeah, and like this kind of this self-made look.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a bad thing, but somehow I'm always like,
It's just not your cup of tea.
Yeah, probably. I'm just not convinced, it feels like.
Yeah.
I'm not really thrilled about it. Yeah, so I'm again on pattern search. I would still love to knit the Yoreum top in a very like summery yarn. I don't know, very thin yarn. So it's gonna be that flowy, like the pattern photos. Yeah, but I don't think I'm gonna start it any soon. I think I need a break from the yarn and the pattern.
Honestly, I feel like it really does wonders sometimes to have a little bit of distance. Especially when you're stuck, and then all of a sudden there will be an idea and it will just turn out very nice.
Yeah, I also think so. I would also like wie sagt man, apropos.
Speaking of?
Oh yeah. Speaking of planning, I would also love to knit the Flirty by Woolbird Knit, I think she's called. I love this pattern, but I don't have any yarn which would fit, and I don't want to buy any yarn right now, so I think these are just ideas.
Yes. Wow.
But I'm really happy with my spicy Slipover and still working on the mixed Rib Cami.
Yes. I'm sure you'll find a new idea very soon.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for today.
I also think so.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us and watch our video.
Please let us know what you have been knitting or making while watching this episode. We're always curious to know.
Yes. So have a great day and see you soon.
Bye.